Welcome to Saying Yes Again,
a podcast about second chances, real love, and opening your heart after heartbreak.
We're your hosts, Dr. Lisa
and Tony,
a midlife couple who found love after divorce. And now we're here to share our story.
And to remind you that it's never too late to say yes again.
So put on your headphones and listen closely, because your next yes could be the one that changes everything. So, finding love wasn't the hard part. Staying open to it was.
That's true, because I think people actually believe once they find that wonderful, that special person, that the hardest part is behind them.
Yes. And we've learned that that is not necessarily true. Sometimes the challenge is staying open after life has given you every reason to close.
That's good, because after divorce, fear doesn't disappear just because you found somebody wonderful walking into your life.
Exactly. So this is our second wedding anniversary. Happy anniversary, honey.
Happy anniversary, baby.
Happy
AKA
anniversary.
Dr.
Happy
Lisa.
Anniversary. Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary.
Oh, God. I'm sorry. I apologize on behalf of the Goudy family.
So we wanted to come on with this special happy anniversary edition, really just to
Yes.
talk about something that surprised both of us. We really want to just talk about not relationship advice, not dating tips, but really just an honest conversation about what really happens after you say yes again.
Yes. Yes. This is going to be dynamic.
Yes. Can you believe it's been 2 years?
I cannot believe. It is so difficult.
Mm-hmm.
After chasing you down the interstate.
Oh, God. Here we go.
Jumping over cars. You know what I mean? Fighting through barbecues.
Oh, Jesus.
At your brother's house. And 2 years. We're on the eve, actually, of our official anniversary.
Yes.
You know, but it's been 2 years.
2 years.
5 years total, 2 years married.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. So it has been a wonderful ride and a journey and a lot of life lessons.
Now, come on, I think people want to know exactly what we're going to talk about. I think they want to
All right.
hear what we have to offer or say today.
Okay, well let's jump right into it.
Let's dive on into it.
Yeah, so when I got divorced, I was so convinced that I knew what I wanted, right? Or at least
Okay.
I thought I did. I would go around telling, my girlfriends and my close friends that I didn't want to get married again. I was done. 25 years was a hard pill to swallow. I
Okay.
wasn't necessarily angry or bitter, but I just didn't want to say yes again at that time. So I decided that what I wanted and what I was going to coin it as, like I have said before, was a life partner.
Life partner. We've heard that before, haven't we, you guys? Life partner.
Yeah. And, I've talked about it before. And to me, it was just someone who was going to be my companion to travel with, enjoy life with, share new experiences with, but just not the commitment of marriage. So, because that part of my life was over.
Okay.
Do you remember me saying that about the life partner?
I can remember that vividly. Yes, it was. I mean, you shared that with me, and I was just instantly confused and puzzled. Like, what is her underlining meaning? What is she trying to say to me here? So, as everybody know, I've shared with you guys in the past, I consulted with Webster and joined that with my own interpretation, and I came to an understanding that this lady has been bruised. She's been hurt. She has tons of fear from previous relationships, etc. And she's really not interested in allowing somebody to be within her personal space at this particular time.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just forget about it, Tony. Let's just be friends with this lady, you know? Let's just be friends with this lady.
Yeah.
And, introduce to her to something on the other side of fear, and maybe sparks might fly from there.
Yeah.
Technique. We are on the eve of our anniversary. This is 5 years that we've been together and running,
Oh, God.
and 2 years married.
Yeah. I mean, it's not that I didn't want anyone in my personal space. I just
Okay.
didn't wanna go that far
That
of a
far.
commitment, that
Mhm.
deep of a commitment.
But you wanted all the pleasantries of a relationship, but you didn't wanna be, like, committal.
Committal. Yeah,
Mm,
not
okay.
committal, not committal.
Alright. I understand.
Yeah, so, I mean, I know that I wore that like a badge of honor,
You
like I had
did.
something to
You
prove,
did.
like I had it all figured out,
Mhm.
like I had, learned all these lessons, from my divorce. But, eventually I realized that that's not what I really wanted.
Okay. You
Mhm.
wanted more than a life partner.
Yeah, I think I did. I wanted more than a life partner.
And what above and beyond being a life partner did you want?
Well, at some point, I think my mind changed, right? My
Okay.
mindset about marriage changed. I think I've always loved the institution of marriage. It's not like that I had a bitter taste in my mouth about it,
Okay.
but I just kind of felt like, again, at the time, that it wasn't something that I wanted to do again. I was fearful. I was fearful of what could happen if I made that step, or if I took the risk, of
Mhm.
getting married again.
I mean, you probably obviously you felt that way because you were on the heels of just having had a divorce after 25 years.
Yeah.
Most people would feel that way.
Yeah.
Most people, including myself.
Yeah.
So that's totally understandable as
Yeah.
to why you were slinging this jargon of life partner around so viciously. We clearly understand. We get it, Dr. Lisa.
Yeah, I think what changed was that, we just became really, really good friends, which was wonderful. I didn't kind of understand that could be so deep, from two people who actually really loved each other, right? That there could be a friendship that could develop out of that. So I think that helped me to kind of change, my mind eventually. And then
Okay.
it was just the trust, right? I felt like I could really trust you. And then there was again this protection factor. I felt like you had my back.
I do.
Yeah.
Your back, your front, your side, all of that. No,
Uh,
I'm just joking.
yeah. So it was those three things, and then I think, us just sort of enjoying life together and doing
Hmm.
life together, and then we had, the pleasure of being a part of and attending our son's wedding. And I think that did something to me, It
Oh,
really
yeah.
wasn't just the pleasantries of the wedding, right? Because no sort of fairy tale moments, just from being at a wedding, but I think it really just shifted something inside of me, just witnessing the love, seeing the journey, understanding that, I didn't really give up on love, it just that I was just fearful of it.
Yeah. Just fearful.
Yeah.
And I too, I really enjoyed the ceremony that we witnessed.
Mhm.
It was beautiful, and it kind of reminded you of the beauty of a union.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the beauty of a union. It just kind of negated all the fear, all of the apprehension, and it just encouraged you without trying to do it intentionally. That give yourself a second chance.
Yeah. Yeah. Because when the fear was talking, it was more about, protecting my peace, being, am I being realistic? It was about being careful. So it was about all the protections,
Yeah,
of, again, just not wanting to enter into that space again where that thing that happened,
yeah,
could happen again. So,
exactly.
and I think that's where a lot of people get stuck. Would
Yeah.
you agree?
Because fear wants to keep you in that state of mind,
Mm-hmm.
apprehensive, just totally negative about everything, afraid to do this, afraid to do that.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing that you eventually got over that,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Were you happy when I got over that?
Yes. Yes. It made it easy for me, you know?
Okay. All right. So let's talk about what surprised us most.
Okay, let's
Okay.
go.
So I think the first thing is that fear, because we talk about fear a lot, because
Yes.
we want you really to understand how fear can be at the root of a lot of, us sometimes being stuck after divorce and not wanting to just open up again and move. So we want you also to understand one thing that surprised us is that fear doesn't leave just because love arrives, right? So you can find that special someone, you could be in a relationship and still be afraid.
Yeah. Yeah. You definitely can.
Yeah.
So that's a good point because I think people feel like when they find, that knight in shining armor
Mhm.
or, the fear is just over. It's just done with. All of their happiness is at fingertips away now. And that's
Yeah.
just not true.
Yeah.
That's actually when fear really shows up. So what Lisa and I have done is we understand that fear. We have to have discussions. We have to, in some situations, you seek clinical help or whatever. We just kind of have to recognize it for what it is, instead of arguing and getting these disagreements and
Mm.
this one going that way or the other one going. You have to really understand exactly what it is. And until it's dealt with, you're not going to be able to deal with it. And so
Yeah.
we just kind of gotten to a point where we can kind of deal with that fear when we see it in its
Mhm.
many different disguises,
Yeah, that is
right?
so true. Fear shows up in a lot of different ways, so a lot of times that argument is not about the fact that, that person left their shoes in the middle of the floor
No,
or,
no.
or something else. It's really something else going on sometimes underneath that. Because when you really care about someone, when you have gotten to that point, right? Right? The fear kicks in. It's like that you can possibly lose that person or you have something to lose again. So if the fear is talking, it kind of notices that immediately.
Yeah, yeah. So again, you have to recognize these things and you have to deal with them, right? In a
Mhm.
healthy respect,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
So it's just again something to just be aware of, or again, one of the things that surprised us. So surprise number 2 is that, and this is a good one,
And what is that?
love doesn't heal everything.
No, it doesn't. But it feels real good, you know? But it does not heal everything. You are exactly right. Can you
Yes.
clarify or,
Yeah.
or
So, I
add
mean,
to
our
that?
relationships don't necessarily magically heal old wounds,
No, they
right?
don't. Mm-mm.
Yeah. I mean, we have to work through that healing process. We have to work through healing ourselves. We have to work through sometimes, again, like you mentioned, maybe getting help to clear those or
Mhm.
heal rather those old wounds. You have to understand that they don't magically go away, that there's a
Mm-mm.
process you go through, right, to get kind of to move through those old wounds,
Mhm.
and not push through, but move through those old wounds.
Yeah.
So, and I think that sometimes, unfortunately, a lot of people are just searching for, they want the hurt to go away. So that relationship becomes the be all and end all of healing, what's maybe broken.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah. So that's the second thing I think that kind of shows up or showed up because we know that healthy relationships don't really erase the past. We talked about that. A lot of times, what happens in relationships is that it reveals to you where you need to grow,
Oh, yes, most definitely. Most definitely.
where the trust still needs to grow.
Most definitely.
It reveals to you where the fear still lives. What are you fearful of?
Mhm.
Are you fearful of that person walking out on you? Are you fearful of, being in conflict? What is the fear? So it's definitely going to show up. And
Mhm.
it's up to you and your partner to really work through that.
Yes, definitely. That's a big
Yeah.
one. She said a mouthful right there, and
Yeah.
I don't even think she realized that she said a mouthful.
Okay. Surprise number 3.
I think you're surprised already.
Another surprise is the fact that being love and receiving love are different skills.
Being love and receiving love are different skills.
Mhm.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
that
Yes.
that could be a whole nother episode.
That you are 100% correct. That is a mouthful. Being love and receiving love.
Mm,
Oh my good.
yeah.
What on earth do you mean, Dr. Lisa?
Well, I think that, a lot of times we might understand that we are loved, right? So,
Okay.
because someone's showing us that.
All right.
They're either, doing something that they know that we need, showing up for us in some way. you know, doing little things, right, to show that you care, that you remembered something. But then are you actually receiving that
Mm.
though as
Oh,
love, right?
wow. I can remember that. I can remember that. I want to say that was 2 Father's Days ago. My bonus daughter came over to the house unexpected. I know she had things to do, things on her plate, so on and so forth, and surprised me with balloons, flowers. She's really into these whole this whole flower deal. And she came in and she's like, Happy Father's Day, and so on and so forth. And I was like totally embarrassed. And I had to ask myself later on, like, why, Tony? What's the big deal? I mean, she genuinely loves you. But that whole situation about receiving love, it just made me feel awkward because
Uncomfortable.
I- I'll be honest, right? And Lisa, she really hates when I do this. I'll be perfectly honest right here, live on air today. I did not know how at that time to receive her organic love because I'm not accustomed to it, right?
Mhm.
I'm not accustomed to it. So if you're not accustomed, if you haven't had practice, you know what I mean? When it happens, you don't know how to receive it.
Mhm.
So that's an
Yeah.
example of what we're talking about.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
she loves me, but the receiving part was like, oh my God, I feel awkward.
I think sometimes it's even deeper than just not being accustomed to it. It's
Okay.
also, for some people, I think, a block for them because, again, maybe because past experience, they
Okay.
haven't received love, or I'm going to use the word fear again, fearful of the fact of what opening up to that love will mean. So,
Mm,
what does that mean for me to receive the love? What will that require from me to do that I might be uncomfortable doing? Am I
mm.
gonna have to be vulnerable? Am I gonna have to now, open up parts of me that I've closed before?
That's a good point.
Am I gonna have to show love now with a hug or some sort of, appreciation
That's a good
that
point.
I may not be comfortable with? So, yeah, so I think a lot of times is that too.
And I think that's a phenomenal point because I was looking at it as being uncomfortable in that particular moment was that I wasn't accustomed to receiving love,
Mhm.
right? And then you indicated on the other side of that, I might have unknowingly been fearful of the fact that, okay, how do I receive that? What my level of responsibility would be now from this point forward after someone let me know that, hey, listen, I unconditionally love you. Happy Father's Day.
Mhm.
So, so you guys, we want to point this out as beautifully as we can. These are some of the internal or intrinsic apprehensions that we don't even realize that we possess,
Mhm.
right? And we wonder why we stumble as we try to achieve these relationships or marriages because there are hidden obstacles that are festering inside of us and we're totally unaware of it. So, good point. Good
Mhm.
point, Dr. Lisa.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think the other thing is that most people say, now that we're talking about looking at it through kind of the saying yes again lens,
Okay.
most people say that, when they are on the heels of maybe having gone through a divorce or heartbreak and now they're kind of ready to look for love again,
Okay.
that now it's like I have to really look for the right person. Right? So they start
Okay.
looking for this right person, Mr. Right or Mrs. Right.
All right.
And a lot of times, again, I think what they're saying is, I want the sure thing. Like, I want the certainty. I want that person to be, everything that I could ever imagine. Right. I want it to be the right person. But I think, again, it's, this certainty kind of makes us just feel safe, but it's not necessarily bringing us maybe that person that may be the best person for us. Maybe not the
Mm.
right person, but the best person.
I think when we say things like that, we're getting in our own way without even realizing it.
Mhm.
When I met you, I actually prayed. I wanted to meet a beautiful person internally and externally. And then, like we mentioned in our one of our previous episode, and then just enjoy the experience. Let it happen as it may.
Mhm.
Just enjoy the experience. When we say we want to meet a particular person and we put up all these parameters and prerequisites, you know, um, we create roadblocks, I believe, Dr. Lisa. I don't know
Mhm.
what your take on that is.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I
We
think we can definitely create
To
roadblocks. I
some
think
degree,
to some degree, you have to have obviously, your
non-negotiable.
non-negotiables. You have to have those, there are obviously certain behaviors you shouldn't tolerate from anybody.
Exactly.
Again, but is, the right person or the certainty of the situation, yeah, we could definitely block our blessing by
Yeah, we
by
just
kind
want
of
to
going down
remain,
that.
and you and I mentioned that in our episode
Yeah.
about non-negotiables. We want to maintain a certain level of flexibility.
Yeah. Mm,
Okay.
yeah.
Maintain
'Cause
a
there
certain
is
level.
no I was listening to a podcast, I often listen to Pastor Rick Warren.
Excuse
I
me.
think I've told you this before. So he is a, pastor that has a podcast, a very popular podcast. He has a
Hmm.
very popular ministry, and he was talking about one of the podcasts was about relationships, and he was talking about the fact that um, people who are in marriages a lot of times have these ideals about again who their partners are and what their partners should possess and how they should behave,
Hmm.
and that neither person is perfect.
Exactly.
So part of being in a marriage is growing together and also learning to be in conflict.
Mm.
And doesn't mean you argue every day, all day. That's not healthy. But learning to be in conflict because you're two separate people. You have two separate, um, thought processes, two separate, personalities. Your personalities are not the
Yes.
same.
Exactly.
You typically marry the opposite, I think, anyway. And a lot of that is because you really wanna have that person who can help you to grow, right? To see those areas sometimes maybe where you are blind to a lot of times.
Good point. Good
Yeah.
point. Another thing I like to say is that, I met you 5 years ago. So I had been in existence for 55 years before I met you. You, 53 years before you met me. So we had a total of what? 108 years of experiences throughout life, from Pennsylvania, New York, all the way to Georgia, through a 25-year marriage, a 7-year relationship. So we had been through an infinite amount of things with different people, different friends, and now all of a sudden we joined forces some 5 years ago. There's no way that we can just inherently know one another
Mhm.
and just gel 100%.
Mhm.
There's going to be bumps. There's going to be bruises. There's going to be a need for understanding. There's going to be a desperate need for conversation, clarification, and assistance along the way.
Mhm. Yeah. And at
It
the end of
will.
the day, do you really just wanna be together?
Exactly.
You really just wanna be together. So this 2 years has taught us a lot.
It sure has. I feel like
Yeah.
I've gotten a PhD in saying yes again.
Oh my gosh. And I think, the thing that I recognize the most during our time together, like I just mentioned, I think is really learning a lot about myself. Even though, I was in a relationship for 25 years before, there's some things I'm still learning about myself. And I think that I'm allowing through this marriage to actually help me grow through it or to grow
Mm,
from it rather, as opposed to just ignoring those things.
okay.
'Cause at the end of the day, I wanna be a better person.
Change will do that.
Mhm,
Sometimes change is needed,
mhm,
you know?
mhm, mhm,
So sometimes we don't understand those separations, divorces, and maybe they don't happen in a timely fashion, but change is needed for growth,
mhm.
so
Yeah. So, this has been a wonderful episode.
it has,
It
it has.
has. Again, as our anniversary is right around the corner, um, I think that the reason, a lot of times, again, just looking back as far as why people kind of stay stuck or why I stayed stuck after divorce wasn't because I stopped really believing in love. It really was because I kind of just let fear take over
Mhm.
and also was kind of looking for that certainty that It's just not there.
And like you said, you're like most people out here. Fear happened on the
Mhm.
heels of a divorce.
Mhm.
Fear happens on the heels of becoming a widow. It's a normal situation.
Yep,
But
yep.
how we deal with that fear is the key.
Exactly. And that's what saying yes again means, right? It's not saying yes because you're certain. It's not saying yes because you're fearless. It's saying yes because you decided that you're not going to let fear make those decisions for you again. That you're going to grow, you're going to be open, you're going to love, you're going to take risks, you're going to accept risks, and just continue to move forward.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So, if you are listening to this podcast, please let us know how you feel about, what we shared. We would love for you to just send us, any messages that you have for us as well.
Please do.
Yes, because we know for a lot of you that finding love again, again, isn't the hardest part. The hard part really is just breaking that agreement that you made with fear or with yourself about you're not going to do this again. So that's what we're here to kind of help you move through and to get through.
And Dr. Lisa, in addition to that, where can they find us?
Yeah. So if you are on social media, our handles are at Saying Yes Again, and that's on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. And then you can also go to our website, sayingyesagain.com.
What about if they want to watch and subscribe to our podcast? Where
Yeah.
would they go?
So if you want to watch the full video, again, YouTube would be the place to watch the video. And then if you want to listen to our podcast, you can subscribe to Apple, Spotify, or iHeartRadio.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, we've spoken about fear, the other side of fear, the beginning of fear, what it looks like in its infinite amount of different appearances. But next episode is going to be about two courageous individuals who had a magical moment in meeting one another.
Mhm.
And
Yes, we're
that
going
would
to
be about
share
who,
that. We're
Dr.
going to
Lisa?
share that. So, we're going to be sharing the viral love story of the Del Toros on our next episode. So, make sure that you
Yes,
subscribe so that you can be the first to hear that story when it
here.
drops here. Their love story is so captivating.
Oh,
It's
yes.
exciting. It gives us all hope
Oh,
again
I
about
almost
saying yes
cried when I
again.
watched it.
So make sure that you tune in for that next episode.
Yes, definitely. You definitely
Yes.
do not want to miss that.
Yes. So we're bringing you real stories from real people now. So you want to tune in and listen to those people.
This has been another wonderful and amazing episode of Saying Yes Again. We truly appreciate all of the people who watch our podcast all around the world. We really appreciate it. So, as Dr. Lisa indicated, if this episode resonates with you, please share it with someone that you think could truly benefit from our content, okay? And have a wonderful evening.
All right. Bye-bye.